So here we have the second game of this past weekend. This game we performed at a much higher level. It seemed like our energy was better. The opposition team was definitely not as skilled as the first team, but regardless of how good or bad the other team is, we still have to show up and do the best we can. I think we did a great job rebounding after the close loss earlier in the day. We didn't put our heads down or give up. We just moved on, and I think the performance showed a lot, especially with it being our second game and their first game of the day. Which, talking about that, I've noticed that there are multiple teams in that situation. So this, for the first time, I believe, since we've been in Arlington, we have other teams doing the doubleheader schedule. I believe there was 3 of us doing it last weekend. So we aren't the only ones this time. So far from the first kickoff, we've had them kind of pinned back in their own half. We got an early corner here that sails over for a goal kick. Good interception there by Hutton at the top of the box. Not a bad attempt there. If we go back, let's skip a little bit ahead. So here's where we win the ball back. I think something we do well here is we shift over pretty fast. We don't wait for something to happen to move ourselves, as Giovanni, Tony, Raylan, and Luke do a nice job of shifting over to the left side of the field. Now, in this moment is where I believe we could be a little bit more dynamic in regard to off-ball players. So, someone's on the ball dribbling it. Notice the runs or the lack of runs that we make as a team in the final third, or trying to create opportunities as this is going on. There's a lot of standing. We're not bunching up, but I think, and we'll improve as time goes on, being more active on the field off the ball will open up a lot of space. And it also makes the defense make decisions, which is something I've said a lot here and then at practice. But as the team will learn, the more we can do that, the better off we are. Good job by Diker judging the bounce. Stepping really high up, returns to his position. Good work by Luke covering the middle. And a good win back and pass out wide to Hartley. Plays it into the box. Good pressing there, and it's a goal. If we go back and look at it, the goalie puts the ball down, just boots it right to Hutton, who scores the goal. I'm not really sure about that decision. And I'm honestly not even sure if the ball was even completely stopped, but we're awarded the goal. We'll take it. A goal's a goal, but that one was kind of handed to us. But that's the thing. When you get handed opportunities or a mistake, you have to capitalize and take advantage. And against maybe some tougher opposition, there's not many of those that will happen, if any. And you have to be clinical in those areas. Here, a little loose, but not bad. I like that Jackson's talking and using his arms to signal play. Nice passing here. We've combined for about 4 or 5 passes. Good work keeping it alive. Tony has a lot of space here. We go to the right side, past the railing, back down, up again. See, here's something. So as Kuko's running backwards, he's got pressure behind him. Instead of trying to force it back up the line, I would like to see, as Diker is doing well to position himself, us to just recycle it, go back to Diker, onto Jackson, and then we can switch it over to Tony. Just a little easier. Nice turn by Luke, out wide to Pablo. 1-on-1 back to Luke. Takes a touch, tries to get the shot, and he puts it wide. But we're getting a lot of people involved and we're moving the ball around much better. We've had multiple plays where we had multiple kids and multiple passes in the move. Good interception here. Little bit of miscommunication. Here's a through ball. Biker does well, plays it back to Nate. That's perfectly fine. Nice pass by Nate, first time out wide, on the money. Good move here. I do think we could space it out a little better and use this space we have on the wing. We get the ball over to Hartley. It's out for throw. So far through 8.5, it's been a dominant showing, even though it's 1-0. Good steal there. Nice carry up. Bit of a heavy touch. 50-50 collision into Hutton. And they get rid. Not a bad ball into the box. Cleared away. Diker, nice control. Stays with it. Passes it up. Finds Luke. Nice little pass in. Back to Luke. Then another one. Great play there and a good save by the goalkeeper. But that's very good passing by the team. Something that we're going to try is, for the first games we had the tripod at the second level. For the next two, we'll go to the highest like we did for majority of last year, and we'll see which one works better. But I really liked how in that move we looked to pass, we were quick with our decision making, and it came out with a pretty good shot. The goalie just made a decent save to his left, but the passing and the ball movement was there. Good work by Raylan there to win it, but they get it back and are pushing it up for one of the first times. Good pass by Jackson to break the lines. Luke into Giovanni. Tony's open over here. We find him. Plays it back. Another pass into Luke. Carries it up. Finds Pablo. Back out to the edge of the box. Nice pass back out. See, there's not a big rush. We're not panicking. We're really taking care of the ball. It's something that we didn't see much of in the first game. And from this move, we have a great step in. Pablo takes it. Great pass in by Giovanni. Nice touch inside and puts it right in the side netting. Great finish, 2-0. That was just great teamwork. And really deserved that one. The first one was kind of their own mistake, but there we showed our ability to work as a team, move the ball around, and score a goal. So we win possession back about 3 seconds after the goal. The defense has done a nice job, and Luke's done a good job of finding those pockets. Here's something else. Diker steps up into midfield, and Luke covers for him, as Luke is now basically the center back with Jackson. That's something we can all learn to do. If your teammate, especially in the back, steps out of position, sometimes as a midfielder or even another defender, you have to cover for them for a brief moment of time, maybe a few minutes even, if they go really far up. But this is just good IQ by Luke to see that Diker pushed up and that they could get the ball back here, and he takes his place. If not, Jackson is left alone in the back. So that's just good teamwork there and recognition. Good combination play on the right wing. We get it back to the middle. Bit of a loose pass between Luke and a defender. They've got a chance to come on the counter. Good step in by Diker there, winning it fairly. Plays it up a little too much. The goalie comes out to get it. Punts it up. Not a bad punt. Jackson takes a tumble. That's very loose. If we look here, Here's where he falls over. Damian's running back. Plays it kind of soft, 50-50 between. And then it turns into a shooting opportunity that hits the bar. Good block there. But if we go back here, in this situation, you're first to the ball. I would love to see a nice pass back to Nate here. There's no really need to play Tony facing the wrong way, because a few inches to the left and they score a goal there. Nice dummy there by Pablo. Uses speed to get around Luke in some space in the middle. Pablo cuts it back, finds Giovanni, edge of the box, takes a long shot, and it's wide. But good work by Pablo just to relieve the pressure and bring it up the field to the other half, as in just a moment we were under pressure, and then the next minute we're having a shot on goal. As they make some substitutions, little number 2, who I was told is a firecracker out there, kind of aggressive in nature, which sometimes the small players have to be, so they don't just get pushed around. But you'll notice a lot with these games, it comes down similar to other sports when you can say the turnover battle, but sometimes it comes down to mistakes and who's capitalizing on the other teams and limiting their own, and then who's not capitalizing and causing their own. You could have a very even matchup where those mistakes and how the other team responds to them determine the outcome, as we have a call foul on Hutton, as he kind of did run through the back of the other guy. He's not real happy with the ref, but I would say no harm, no foul, but wouldn't really make sense, as the goalie once again passes it right to our team. Having a bit of a rough time with his delivery. And the snapshot is pulled wide. But again, we're creating chances, getting shots off in promising areas. It took a nick, I suppose, as they're calling the corner kick here. We weren't horrible at these. They're very hard to score, and our team is small in stature. But our delivery wasn't that bad. That's not a bad idea. Tony had a bunch of space. It just didn't work out. Nice pass by Raylan. Good work there. Ooh, and that was a close attempt. That's the thing, just with more time and touches on the ball and reps, a lot of these shots I think will be on target. I think that's just the rust maybe and just being a little off the mark to start the season. But as we progress throughout the season, I think more of these shots will be on target, at minimum, test the goalie. Good win by Raylan on the goal kick. Luke plays it out wide. Raylan finds a pocket of space, plays it back in the middle. We play it out wide again. Tony steps up, good touch. Good touch by Luke there. Oh, this one again. They cleared away. Jackson with a nice header into Tony. Pass to Diker there. Bit loose control, but Diker's the first to get the ball as they were slow to react. Good work hustling back in position as they have possession, but Raylan does a good job to pressure there. Not the best touch. Number 2 kicks it away. Tony gets fouled, but keeps going. Plays a pass out wide. And a 1-2 here between Pablo and Giovanni. Nice touch to get around him as he overcommitted. Into the box. Layoff. Luke using his body out the box. And a good finish. 3-0 in the first half. As that all started back with Tony in the back, staying on his feet, kept going. Resulted in this. A nice shot outside the box. Goalie makes an attempt. And that is the end of the first quarter. So at the first water break, we're up 3-0 with a very good lead and good play overall.